Hey guys, my name is Seniac and welcome back to another episode of Transport Fever 2, the Cuban edition, where we're now witnessing one of the brand new passenger trains that come from the newly expanded passenger line to Matanzas. I still can't say the name, guys. I do apologize. Which has now meant our passenger commuter line here is extended to 4 cities, which, with all the recent expansions we're doing, we've been increasing the exports coming out of Cuba right now. I'm now starting to amass quite a bit of cash money moolah, which is absolutely fantastic. The profit has skyrocketed. Last year was a record income of 57.8 million. We're doing all right, mate. We're doing all right, but I think it's now time to invest into the infrastructure of Cuba. Now, I said in the past previously that this passenger line is going to rapidly be upgraded and rapidly changed to the format that we are hopefully going to start in today's episode. Now, what I want to do is I want to use Colon over here because it's the perfect situated place right now to build a mega station. Now that sounds kind of wild, but what I want to try and do here is build our first commuter line, cargo line, and high-speed trade line platforms. Not the lines, don't get confused. I'm not building the lines. I want to build a station that can accommodate all 3 of those variations and also accommodate multiple lines of those variations as well. And then from this, we're then going to build and connect up our original line to it. We're going to then see if we can incorporate some type of cargo line and then ultimately figure out where we're going to be running our high-speed line at the same time. So this is going to be interesting, guys. Could we eventually have the end concept that we have a high-speed rail route running through Cuba? It would be hilarious. There wouldn't be many cities connected to it, but it definitely could work. So if you are enjoying the series, smash that like button down below. Subscribe if you are new so you get notified when more episodes do come out. And leave a comment saying thank you for placing more modules, just that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause, bam, and we're going to choose to delete this road here. Unfortunately, it's got to go. Now, we're going to incorporate in this middle part here the basis, the beginning of me building this epic train station. Now, I don't really know, ultimately, how I'm going to go about and do it. But what I do know is it's going to have to be pretty long, and I'm trying to figure out what the best size would be. So I reckon we also delete this road. And if we're going to use that road there as the to kind of crissy crossover, I might change that as well. But let's just say I had this dead center. Bam. This is going to be a big station, okay? This is going to be the station of all stations. It's going to be absolutely huge right now. And it's planning itself to be connected to the height of that, which actually, do you know what I don't like? I'm going to delete. And we're going to rotati. And I wonder if I can place this in myself. Do you know what we should actually do is we should landscape a bit, because the terrain is a little bit wild. So if I smoothen first to begin with, the land looks like it does fall away. So if I go to the flatten tool here and come off this, go across, I can just kind of see how the land is changing around. And then we'll just smoothen it real quickly. There we go. So it should theoretically be flatter than what it originally was, which it does kind of look a little bit better. But I'm going to bring this. I could either snap it directly there or just fine tune it enough. Now we'll snap it directly there and then we'll build off it. Right, okay, so with this being as it is, we're now going to configure. And we're going to delete a lot of stuff, okay? We're going to delete a lot of stuff. Now, I think I want bigger buildings. So I'll delete there for just for a minute. I'll utilize these 2 platforms here as being my little test run. So if I think that if I go 2 across then down, and then I put my passenger platform here and here, how big are the passenger buildings? Okay, technically we can go a little bit further back. Or do I use these ones? No, we have to go a little bit further back again. Right, delete, 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 delete. Passenger platform here instead. Is that enough for that big building? No. Okay, back a little bit more. And then passenger building. Bam. Right, that is the start of it, okay? It's huge, but it will allow me, right, to be able to get more buildings alongside the station. And this is going to be what's going to set us up right now for the future. Right, so delete all that. That's all I really needed, okay, to start with. So what we're going to do then, we're going to configure it like this. We're going to have a passenger... I'll start with doing it 4 wide and then build it out. Then I'll do the rest either side. So, like I said, I want to incorporate cargo coming in, high-speed trains coming in, and basic commuter routes coming in as well. Now, only in certain locations will the high-speed rail run alongside eventually the commuter and cargo lines, because they don't go to the same cities. They kind of like city hop, if that makes sense. So I think I might keep those on the outside, and then on the inner side we have cargo and commuter. So by that logic then, I could have the line here for the high-speed rail. Obviously, I don't have high-speed rail yet. It's something that I will eventually upgrade in the future. But I don't know whether to give them 2. Okay, if I gave them 2, I could then choose to incorporate a platform here. Right. For, on this side, what will then be the commuter route. Now, I could do technically on the commuter route 2 tracks as well, to have 2 trains, because we're going to do it where this side here is going that way and then this side is coming down this way. Now, this might feel super overkill at this moment in time. It really might feel super overkill. Now, we're going to have less cargo trains coming in, so what I could do there is set this up like this and have the cargo directly in the middle. So on this line here is only cargo. We've got 2 lines here for the commuter line, 2 lines here for high speed. Now that is for everything going this direction, going up. If I replicate this here, that's for them coming down in this direction. You see where I'm going? Now obviously this is a middle station. This is a very big station, might I add, a very, very big station. So there's the other cargo line coming down the opposite way. And then we set up a passenger platform. I don't know if I've got enough tracks for this. No. So I've gone a little bit too big. So I think we have to kind of now half it. I think we're going to have to now half this. So if I utilize deleting this strip here, let me just get rid of all of this. And then we rebuild it again. So let's just say we only got 1 track then. We only stick to 1 track instead of having 2. We'll go passenger there, track, passenger there, track, and then we'll have cargo here, to which then we'll have track, 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 track. But I need that extra 1. Is it because I've made the building go too far? I think that might be the case, because I made the building stick out too far. Right. Wait, hold on. Does that mean I could have still had the original thought process? Because I got to... So I needed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I could have still built it if I went a little bit closer. But then am I able to squeeze in such a small building? The answer's no. Unless it was pushed a little bit back. Right. That's slightly, you know, throw me off a little bit there, it has. Not going to lie. So I've got another idea to how I can now do this. So if I got the train station really small and I decided to base it off here, right, and then delete this to then go, let me do 8 platforms. Do I need the big building at this point? No. If I go 4. Would that work? Or do I just keep it simple and go small? The idea is, right, I'm trying to build this in a way in which... Let me go 3. It's 4. It's centered. Right, let me go 160. That it's going to be centered and then it connects. And now I don't want it too far away. So let me try there. Okay, let me try there and we'll do it with the very end section here. So this might take a few minutes to kind of get it sorted. But once I do, once I've got it exactly how I want it, then we're laughing all the way to the bank. So I don't know how far I can now stick this out by. But let me just pick it as this. So 2 there, 2 there. Right. Oh no, I've got to come in this way, don't I? So let me go platform. So 1 platform there. If I do 2 sets of tracks here. If I do a platform, then can I do a passenger building? I can do a passenger building there and we can squeeze in that larger style one. But it depends on where that is within my route. Because that'll be a platform there. That'll be nothing because that's where the cargo drops down. So I've just got to figure out how close I can actually physically get for it to make sense. So track-wise, it's a platform there, 2 tracks, a platform, and then this is where I'm going to lose out somewhere. Oh no, we've got it. Oh, that's perfect. Okay, there's my train station. Now you could argue I've gone too many. Didn't need to go that far. But at the end of the day, right, this is setting us up for the future. This is something that eventually would need to be this size. I might as well just get it in this size now, moving forward. Oh, this is actually kind of exciting. So this building then can actually now be deleted. And then we can go a little bit crazier with getting the rest of this stuff now in. So I'll go for all the platforms first, and we just got to figure out how long we want to make it. So I've gave myself a little bit more capacity. I can run in multiple lines either side. Now our cargo line is directly in the middle. So track-wise. So if you're still a bit confused about how I've set this up, I'll explain right now. Oh no, I didn't mean to put that train track there. What am I doing? Right, let me delete this. Because that's meant to be cargo. So, we've got the cargo platform in the middle. So a train goes down that way, and a train comes in this way for cargo. Then we've got 2 platforms there and there for commuter lines. That's small, slow lines hopping city to city. 2 going down that way, 2 coming in this way. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 sets of tracks there, which moving forward will bend into a main line, and it will be a 4 main line where we have the 2 middle being cargo, the 2 outer being passenger. Then we've got the 2 outer sides here being high speed, obviously 2 going that way, 2 going this way, which will connect onto the outer side of the commuter line, which would technically make it then 6. 2, 4, 6. But it won't stay connected for them too long because they'll eventually go a different route. So, for example, Cologne to Mat to Havana will be a commuter line doing it. The high-speed line might skip over this city, and where this kind of bends down to connect into there, this might go straight, turn down for the high-speed line that way, just to make it a quicker route. So it's only certain areas where it combines. The other time, it'll be high speed leading out of here. Right, let me now get the buildings connected and hope that I still have the ability to get that connected, which I do. Perfect. So we'll do 1 there, and I won't go any further just yet because I don't know what I'm going to be doing with this. But I'll place you... Where's the center of that one? There, right? Bam. Let me now just quickly set up some miscellaneous stuff here. So at least we're going to have an underpass for each one there. And then how big do I make it? I think we make it go by one more. I think we make it go by one more just for now. And then that should do me. I don't think I need to make it any longer at that point then moving forward. So quite a big station. Quite a big station. But now I've got this plan set up. We can make smaller variations of this. Now, this is the exciting part. So not every city, every city that has high-speed trains doesn't need it this size, right? We can choose in the smaller areas where we don't have much space to the lines here with 2. We reduce down to 1. So that will take, obviously, a width of 4 off the whole station. You know what I mean? So, you know, there's ways in which we can kind of improve it in certain areas. Just because we have the space here, it enables us to be able to do it. So let me now just do more miscellaneous stuff then. So we'll do the other, and we'll do the underpasses all in the middle here. No particular reason why. It's near the main entrances. We'll do the platform roofs. So we'll definitely go down here first. Now what's interesting is eventually we'll of course have, as we travel through the eras, we'll have different styles of these buildings. So we can always come back and update it in the future if we really wanted to. Right, there we go. Bit long-winded, I know. But we're going to get there. Right, very good. Very good, boys. So let's add a few more connections on. Passenger building-wise. I'm going to add that at the very end. You at the very end. There and there. So we just maximize the coverage of the actual station. And then small side buildings. Can't go any further there. We'll do the side buildings here. So I've got like a normal style there and there. And then we'll go for like a smaller one there and there. And these help with the station's ability to hold capacity. All right, there we go. Right, it's huge, isn't it? It's a huge station. It doesn't feel right, but that's only because we don't have the infrastructure yet implemented to allow it to feel right. Now, what I'm going to do next is going to set up our alignments. So I'm going to base off the main line here, running off this. So, bear with me for a second now. I'm going to run this through here first. So bring you to there, bring you to there, just so it didn't up the road too much. And I'm just going to allow this to run straight. Okay, so I've got the center of the line running to the center of the station. What I might do is I might actually delete this road now, thinking about it. And I'm going to delete it to here. Because this is where... Oh, okay, that's part of the station, isn't it? I forgot about that. I literally just placed it in and forgot about it instantly. Oh, you weren't part of the station. Right to there. So that's where all the lines are going to now run into this. So this is... The middle bit is going to be our cargo line. Okay. And then we're going to have an outer bit here for our passenger commuter line. So we keep our passenger commuter line separate from our cargo line. And then wherever we need to, we can make them switch. We can do double slips and whatnot if they need to go in different directions. So, you know, it will work. So this goes into here. This goes into here. Okay. And then we can choose this to run into there. We can have this run into there. But of course, that's got to be combined onto this. So I think it probably... Do I merge it there like that? Or do I merge it to this point and then bring it in? Right, where did that come from? Is it just there? Because at least I can have a train potentially waiting, moving forward. Now, it looks like huge infrastructure, but that should do exactly what I need to do. Now, there may be cases, right, where they utilize this, some of the lines, as an end stop. Like if I was delivering goods to here on its own, it would then have to go back. So there will be, you know, moments where you kind of do need to implement the old double slipperoonie. And that is beneficial for lines that stop there to head back, need to switch over. And that can be a little bit of a pain, but that's where the double slip kind of comes in. So I'm wondering whether it now makes sense to not make this go all the way. And instead, I choose this to maybe just come out a little bit. To run it into there. To run it into there. So I can use this strip here to do a double slip. I'm hoping that's long enough. Is that long enough now? So you will need it here. Here. There. And there. So if there's an off chance, and it's probably more likely for cargo, but you might get the odd passenger line that might use like a middle station as an end route. If they come in on this here and then go into there, but then they've got to come back out, they come back out, then they use the double slip system to get onto the right side of the tracks that they need to be on. So that works out. So in theory, the signal system would work like this. Coming in like that. Because these are the two lines that they come in. That one's passenger, that one's cargo, and then they go out this way. I'll throw these here just so we can visually see the indication, and then they go out that way. That makes sense. And then the double slip covers all 4 tracks, except obviously the high-speed trains. But they have got their own mind. They'll be doing their own thing. So that should be fairly interesting when we incorporate high speed. But I don't have the ability to do high speed yet. It's just a placeholder on the platform, okay? It is just a placeholder. So I'm now going to smoothen all this off. And I might now just sort out some roads that enable us to get over to the other side of the city without anything else. I also need to do this side as well, so I might as well just kind of quickly incorporate this. So let me grab this again and implement 2 sets of tracks there that I can utilize. And then train tracks. There we go. Run this forward. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Ooh, we're digging into the ground there, boys. And let me just come back to this and delete you and you. Now, how far did I delete out, you reckon? Would you say it was that far? I'm not too sure on that. Not too sure. But of course, we'll now have to incorporate another set here. And get all these now connected. So you're into there, you're into there, you're into there, you're into there. This came out a little bit. That came out a little bit. That merged in. That merged in. And then we had a double slip here. So this is me building it without actually referencing whether it's the same length, but I don't think it's going to matter too much. I really don't think it's going to matter too much. And that's then set up there. And let me just put them placeholder signals in. So, of course, that goes that way and that way. And then, obviously, that will go that way and that way. And it's pretty much identical. So, let's smoothen this off. So, this is really setting us up for high-speed travel. And I could probably predict we're only going to have like something like 5 cities on the high-speed transport system, because there's not that much places for us to kind of stop off by. But if we can do it right and keep everything all separated, we're all good. We should all then be good. Theoretically, anyway. This, I can see something cropping up in the near future that cripples my whole system that I'm trying to create right now. But that's the hilarious part of all of this, isn't it? Right. Nice. 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 So the high-speed train line will have to go the full distance because it becomes a little bit more difficult to crissy-crossy it unless I make it incorporate the double slip system here, but it doesn't really matter at that point. Right, that's all done then. Let me now sort out the road network that's going to allow us to get over here. Now, wrong type of road. Let me just I've first got to figure out, right, the way in which and how I can align it correctly. That's what I've got to first figure out. My alignments here. And it's a little bit difficult to do because we already have in place the train tracks. And I think the reason why... Can I do a skinnier version? No, the reason why I can't do it is because of this bit of rail here connecting back in. I'm not making it go across in any particular reason why. I'm not going to keep it like that. I just want to get the right alignment to go down here. So if I bring it down, it does feel a little bit high. Oh, okay, that's too far. I might just sink it slightly. Sink it ever so slightly. And then delete the ends. All right, delete all this. And I'm either going to do a tunnel underneath or a bridge. But let me just get these train tracks back in. That will do me. That will do me, boys. So this can now run out. Okay, that's our straight line moving forward this way. Straight line moving forward that way. So I know it's aligned with these roads, and that's what's important. All right, more infrastructure being placed in right now with landscaping. It's important, boys. It's very important. And then we just got to figure out how we're doing this. And are we going to go a bridge style? Are we going to go a tunnel? Let's see what we can incorporate. So if I went straight across. Right, and then I decided to do a bridge, sorry. See, a bridge is possible. A bridge is 100% possible, but I don't have the high-speed train line in yet. But how low can I make the bridge so it doesn't look like the McDonald's arches? That's as low as I can make it. Now, another way in which we can also do it is to build the bridge from here and skipping over this and this road. But what is the distance to that? So if I was to go from there to there, it's an 88. Right, if I come out here by an 88. So I know that's the road I'm working with in the alignment. If I deleted this and decided to come all the way over there, now the bridge is longer and hopefully more accessible. I'll keep it to that style of bridge anyway. And then what's the lowest I can make it where it still works? Right, about there. I'm gonna go there. That should be high enough. And does that align correctly is the question. Yes. Right, confirm that. Bam. Right, now we're able to drive to the other side of the city. Granted, I don't have the rest of the connections in yet. But move that down. And we've just become accessible. So I want to do the same thing over on this side. So we've got multiple connections. But of course, the city has decided that it wants to take a different trajectory, which I'm not opposed to. I just want to make sure that the infrastructure feels right. Oh, that should be about right there. And same again, just tweak it slightly. I think about there's fine. And then pass that over. So this is going to be the more difficult part now. Is finding... like the best points for this to make sense. Do I just allow the game to decide how it wants to go moving forward? Most likely. But this is huge for us. This is now investing into the Cuban infrastructure and putting the Cuban people first. Making sure we got the correct type of infrastructure. So granted, they've got to come down and go round, but there'll be more roads that get built in. And just make sure that these bridges are set right. And that this city can now grow both sides of the station. What a station, boys. Oh my goodness me. What a station. Now, we have to incorporate this stuff, this format, elsewhere, which does become a little bit more difficult, okay? So in these cities, I could look towards building... Now, again, not every city is going to be as big as this. If it includes high speed, I can also get rid of one piece of track to reduce it by 4. But some cities don't even have high speed. So that reduces another 4 because it includes platforms then at that point as well. So I know this station over here is not going to have high speed. So shall we work with this one first? And then connect them two up and extend our current passenger line? I got to also think as well, how far these passenger lines, these, you know, commuter lines going to go before they switch over to another commuter line that does the rest of the work. That's what we've got to think, right? So this line here is going to kind of come up and then it's going to bend to meet this area. Now this road unfortunately is going to have to go. But before I do, let's play around with this to begin with. So I reckon we delete there, delete this all back as we now edit this station. And let's see. Now, this is not going to have high speed, but if I kept it the same style to what we've currently got on the other side, so we'll do a cargo there, we do track there for both sides, and then we do passenger, and then we do bam, bam, and then passenger. So that keeps the same format, 2 for the commuter, back and forth, 1 each side for the cargo, and it ends there because there's no high speed either side. So in reality, it's actually not that wide, this station. It's not that wide. So this could work. It's more the length of the station I'm going to question. I honestly feel like we need to make it go further in. And I use this road as the overpass, that road as the overpass. But it also depends on where everything is all going to align. So let me just delete this road, unfortunately. I know, sad to see it go, but the city will grow back 10 times bigger than previously before. Right, we go to there, which means I will delete this part here. Is that about right, or do I go one more? How big do we want these stations is the question. I think we'll keep it like that. I could also reposition the station, but yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is at this point. It is what it is. Right, I'm going to delete the buildings because I'm going to redo the buildings as well. And let's get the tracks in there. So this is the longer part. Oh, there we go. So the land is slightly falling away from us, as you can see. Miscellaneous. So the underpass is there, and there. And I'll do it on the end as well. And we'll throw one in the middle. Why not? Why not, boys? Alright, covers for when it rains. Does it rain in Cuba? I assume, like, Cuba gets, like, tropical storms. And then passenger buildings. Those are too big. We've got to stick to the normal style. So that's a centered one. I'm going to put one there and then one just there to give us a space either side for the smaller buildings. There we go. And then do the same here. Centered. One away. One away. Right, very good, boys, very good. So, quick little fine-tune of the land. Quick little fine-tune there. Smoothie, smoothie. Wish you could have, like, bigger brush sizes. Is that... anyone know if you can get a mod that has bigger brush sizes? That would be pretty cool, wouldn't it? Right, we've got to lead this in, so let me just quickly set up the train tracks, because we're sending it to the cargo platform. So we'll set up the train tracks now leading in. So that's just got to run, theoretically, into here, but not theoretically, right? Let me make them stick out by 2. I think sticking out by 2 gives us the perfect alignment then. So this train track runs into here. And into here. Now, technically right now, we don't have set up the cargo routes or lines. So that's interesting. Right, configure this. I can now delete these. So we'll just have to make the crissy-crossy double slip go into this one line to begin with until we're ready for everything else. So I could run that to there. I could run you to... there. Is that the same? Yes. And then I'll just merge these in, and then we'll do a simple crisscross for now. So that runs into there, and then you run into here, where you run into there, and you run into here. And then we're going to bring this slightly out, with this slightly out, to run you into there. You into there. And then the double slippy crissy crossy would happen here. But is that too short for a double slippy crissy crossy? Let's find out. So if I went to there and then to there, is it enough? That's fine. So until I've got a separate cargo line and commuter line running all of this way, this is just what we're going to have to do for now, unfortunately. So that should allow them, if you're on the outer side, you can kind of make your way in. Because I haven't got to bend these in, because they'll just use the double slip system. But I'm going to leave it like that for now. So the line itself doesn't really know what it's doing anymore, because we've got no path. Now, if I manage this, apparently we've got no path still, but the line is working completely fine. It's the trains themselves. Yeah, there we go. You can see how that line now works. They come in, and they can use both platforms, and on the way back out, they use the double slip to get onto the correct side. So let me just... for now, just put a signal here so they can go all the way, at least all the way up to there, and have to then wait. So we're back to normal now. We are back to normal. It's just now getting this connected down to here on the commuter line. So that's going to kind of come down, bend down, and then round. And then the high-speed line will just kind of bypass that whole city and then connect up into Havana, which will turn that into a high-speed hub as well. Oh, the infrastructure. I'm loving this. I'm loving this right now. So let me smoothie. Okay, smoothie. I'm not quite sure how this is going to work, because there is a mountain we've got to go through. So maybe we try and go to the contours of the mountain. That will be interesting, wouldn't it? Right, tracks. And if I go to my outer... Now, this is going to incorporate, by the way, the 4 train tracks. So if that was to bend round, let me just confirm all of this and bring you with it. I've just got to decide where the bend works. So maybe a little bit more. So that bendy-wendy's all the way around, and there is a possibility... Which, no, okay, right. We're going to bendy-wendy a bit more. Right, we've got to bendy-wendy a bit more because I've also got to incorporate another couple more sets of tracks. Right, that works. Okay, so continue this going up. And then I've got to do another set of tracks either side. So obviously, the outer is commuter. The inner is cargo. And then let me grab this train station and delete these. So this side, I can actually set up correctly to how we're going to have it in the future. So the 2 cargo ones then, you run into there. You're into there. You're into there. Into there. And then what we do is make these come out a little bit before merging into here. Merging into there. And then we've got to do our double slip, which is that on a different level? Interesting how it does that there. But my double slip system will then have to be incorporated. I wonder if I can actually push it up this far. No, the answer's going to be no. There's always going to be a... Oh, no. But can I do this, though? Now, this is a longer one to what I've done previously, but I have the benefit of having a little bit of space to work with. So off it can go. Off it can go. So we'll do a little bit of terraforming real quick. Right. Just to make it not look ridiculous. So just so I remember, coming into the double slip system, which starts around here, that there is to kind of go in, that there is to go out. Just so you get like a reference or how it kind of works when we've got the 4 tracks set up like we are about to have right now. So we'll sort everything else out momentarily anyway. I just now need to connect these boys up. So there's going to be a point where they need to start thinking about the bend, which I think it could be just after this road. So bring all these out. Like that. Bringing you down, which will go to about there, I think. And then does the bend take place okay here? Maybe back a little bit. There we go. Now, I'm going to do it in stages because sometimes it likes to split levels. But that should be okay. That should be okay. Look at that infrastructure running through. That is amazing. All right, smoothie, smoothie. Smoothie, smoothie, boys. Smoothie, smoothie. Right, that's glorious. I can now set up a bunch of signals. So do a set there. we'll do a set just here as well on the road. So set there, there, and there. And then we've got them there. Well, that'll be fine. That'll be fine for now. I could add a few more in, to be honest with you. You just never know how busy these routes are ultimately going to become. So I'll add a few more in. There, and then there. Because the double slip happens quite large. Okay. So then the high speed will kind of come down here. We'll probably tunnel it. And then pop out. And then go down there to then connect up to there, leading into Havana. That's how the high-speed train line is eventually going to work. And eventually, how this line is looking is what we're going to eventually upgrade all these lines leading all the way down to Pina del Rio as well. It's quite a big project, which is why I wanted to kind of plan it out here where we've got nothing going on before we move forward. Now, my question is, how many cities should a commuter line travel before they have to switch over to the next commuter line? I'm still not sure on that one. So until we actually physically know, I think I'm just going to make my existing commuter line go to Cologne. Okay? So let's just get that set up first. So manage the line here. It gets into Matt there. And we'll make it initially go to and be able to use 5 and 6. Not 1 and 2. And then from there, we then add a station in Cologne. Which right now, what I'll do is I'll make it and enable it to utilize all of the stops except, hold on. I'll make it go on 3. Is it except 6 and 5? Because they're technically the cargo stops there. So on the way back, it stops here. And it's able to stop in... it'll be 1 and 2, right? Let me switch this to number 1. So you can't stop in number 3. Yes. Okay, that works perfect. So you can see how the passenger line now comes down. It stays on the outer side where we've got cargo in the middle. And then it comes into these two and then leads out. And then comes in here and then leads out. And on here you can see the cargo and the passenger line do not share lines unless they have to utilize the double slip system. So that works out really good. And I feel like because of now the additional length, we're going to add an additional train on it. There we go. And that's what we'll do. So this city for now, we can kind of leave. It will do what it needs to do. The train station has good coverage. But eventually as it grows a little bit bigger, we'll need to add more connectivity onto it. Matt over here is not looking too great because we do need to incorporate more of the road layouts. Now, luckily we kept this here just so I can figure out the alignment, but then the alignment is going to be a bit awkward if I'm being honest with you, so we might have to create our own layout on this side because that road is not particularly straight. It's not a grid format. We're not as privileged as it was in Cologne over there, which is one of the reasons why I started in that area. Right, let's go to there. What we saying? That look about good? Yeah, let's just call it there. So we've got to figure out then where we want the overpasses. Now, I've learned, and if I come off this road to kind of make it look similar, 88 is the way to do it. And then cut across. And then we're going to cut to about down there. And then we delete back by 1. We make this road go all the way over, and then we bridge it up. Now, this bridge might need to be a bit higher because we are technically staggering up a hill. But if I can just go as low as I can where we're still able to make it work, which I think about there looks great for us. That works there. And I wonder if I can do the same thing here. Now, this might be even tricky. It might actually be worth it to do a tunnel on this one. Because a bridge is probably out of the question, but a tunnel works so much better in this area. You know what I mean? So how high can I make the tunnel? Or how low do I make the tunnel? Right, I'm pushing it a bit further so it kind of has room either side there and a little bit there to maybe get a building in. Now I reckon if I delete you, and maybe just sink that down slightly. And it won't seem so harsh. Okay, that doesn't need to sink down anymore. Let me just get out, get back in. So I'm going to bring that to about there. And I'm wondering if then I should kind of do that. And that does become a little bit of a tunnel, doesn't it? I'm going to do it like that, and then that's where the road is going to run for that part of the city. Right, it kind of works. It kind of weirdly works. I don't want to keep destroying mountains because I do like... I mean, sometimes I do like the natural landscape. Sometimes I like everything to be flat. It depends on what I'm trying to accomplish in this area. But smoothing all this out right now, that is reasonable for me. We've got crossings, which is important. Okay, we've got the important crossings. The underpass here, so vehicles don't have to interact with the train traffic. They haven't got to stop down. It gets us through. I feel like, though, I'm going to delete this road. And I'll bring that across again. So it's a little bit higher. Right, it's a bit higher. I could have maybe made that tunnel now not dip as much. But it's okay. It doesn't affect us in any way, shape, or form now at this point. I can now go back into play mode. So after all that, we're now officially back into play mode, and we have one additional city all connected, but the infrastructure's all in place. Granted, I have no cargo trains able to run up here yet, but the infrastructure's in place for cargo trains, the passenger line's in, and we have our first station that, even though it's not high-speed rail yet, when we eventually do get high-speed rail, we can upgrade it, but then can kind of follow down. What that one side goes underground and then pops back up, and it will completely bypass, connect back up to here to go to Havana. And then in theory, we can make it bypass San Cristobal and then end in Pina del Rio. So we could either hop every other city, or it starts in Havana, hops to Cologne, then it hops... I don't know how many cities. I suppose it all depends. It'll be a city-to-city basis on how many cities it does hop. But the high-speed network would be absolutely fantastic. It really would. If you guys got any ideas or predictions on what we could do with the high-speed network, where we make it stop, how many stations it makes it jumps, let me know in the comment section down below. But this here should be our first train going to Cologne. It should be. So it's about to enter the new system. There we go. Very good, very good. About to drop off right now. Pick a few people up. And off it goes. So, utilizing the outer lane, the outer track. Going down this new route. Which is pretty smooth, isn't it, boys? This is what happens when you got millions of dollars that you can now invest into your infrastructure. And it's going to enter into Cologne. So I would like to see it utilize the Chrissy Crossy. So in it comes. It's already got passengers to pick up, by the way, which is good to see. And because obviously this is now the end station at the minute, it will just use the double slip system to get onto the right side of the tracks. And off it goes again. Beautiful, boys. Absolutely beautiful right now. So Cologne would have taken a little bit of a hit, as you can see. But it will eventually start growing back again. Now it's got these beautiful connections. So, interesting, right? Interesting. This gives us more control. And it's the beginning of this vast transportation network in Cuba. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section down below what you think about this. Is there any ways in which I can improve it? Any changes? How do you think I should run the high-speed trains and city hopping? And of course, we've got to integrate it all the way down. So these next 3 cities, we're going to have to destroy quite a bit of them to implement stations of this size. If I don't do this size, I can get rid of 1 extra track on the commuter line to reduce them. Unless it's a city like Havana, which is of course going to have a high-speed line coming in. It's going to be interesting. I'm not sure how it's going to unveil itself, but it's going to be very interesting moving forward. But for now, boys, I think we will end it here. If you did enjoy this episode, please smash that like button down below. And until next time, I'll see you all soon. So, goodbye.